Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on homeopathy with our beloved Dr. Pachegaonkar. Namaste. Today we begin a rather extensive series on the composition of the body. We begin with the smallest aspect, the human cell.
It's interesting to understand the whole human being. And the smallest unit of this being is a cell. So, in general, the cell is the smallest unit of the individual. But the funniest part is each cell represents the whole individual as such.
Represents?
The whole individual.
Yes.
In various aspects. It's very interesting that cell has a definite structure like a cell membrane which confines the cell to itself. The inner material is cytoplasm, and embedded in the cytoplasm the cell has a nucleus and nucleolus, what we call. In this cell, it's a very tiny thing. Like we have billions of cells in human body, and each cell has its own membrane which distinguishes it. It characterizes it, and the cell membrane contains the cytoplasm, and cytoplasm has many things embedded in that. That is nucleus and nucleolus, and then Golgi apparatus and all these things are there, and it's in close communication with the whole body through osmosis. So it's constantly the nutrition, energy, the source of energy is supplied to each cell in the system through this membrane. And membrane also is two-layered. Phospholipids are lined to form the membrane. And the funniest part is this nucleus has DNA, and that DNA is specific characteristic to that individual, and each cell, you take any cell, and that will be having identical DNA with the whole individual. So each cell, and of course we have to just realize that whole body is developed out of one zygote. One zygote, male and female gamete meet together to form one zygote, and this one single zygote goes on multiplying with mitosis in such a way that it takes different form. The cells multiply and take up a different assignment, and according to different assignments the structural variation will be there, but the basics are same, that they have cell membrane, each cell will have its nucleus, and that nucleus will have the DNA which is specific to that person. It will be identical with it.
So when it forms an arm or a hand or fingers?
Whatever organ, including bones and muscles and skin, everywhere, the cells have identical DNA. They have, because they are originating from this one zygote, and they carry, and every time the cell, it gets evenized, what we can call disintegrated, it is recycled, and it is constantly under mitosis and regeneration. So what cell we have today is not the same cell, it multiplies. On an average, around 3 to 4 months, the cell is absolutely new. It goes on getting multiplied.
But it doesn't change its DNA.
It won't change its DNA. Not only that, the same DNA will be passed on to the next progeny through the sperms or the egg in the ovum.
Yeah.
So this is wonderful structure, and that's what we say, that each cell represents the whole being. And the consciousness is what we call animation. When the cell is live, it draws energy from the system of the human being, and definitely there is a constant exchange of not only energy, even with the consciousness, and it is totally aligned. We have seen that if one is exposed to certain trauma, so definitely the whole body will react together. Whole body will react, each corner, each cell in the human body will react jointly or together and it will be same response. Like we have seen, for example, suppose someone has a burn injury. Burn injury is really painful trauma. And when some has burn injury anywhere in the body reacts in such a way that the person develops ulcer in the small intestine, what we call Curling's ulcer. The genesis of this ulcer is the severe pain, agonizing pain caused by severe burning that causes pain. So body as a total unit, each cell represents the whole body. And the cell assumes a different function during distribution, during development, what we call embryonic development in the mother's womb. Each cell assumes whatever is assigned job, and whatever tissue it joins, depending upon that the structure may change. Like the membrane will have cilia along with it. Suppose it is in the bronchial passage, and this epithelial lining in bronchial passage will have cilia on it, so that the mucus is transferred to exterior, it is emitted out. Depending upon their placement, their structure will vary, and they will work in conjunction with other cells, and not one cell. We have millions of cells working together to form tissues. And in the tissues, depending upon function, all the cells in that tissue will assume a structure which is required for that type of function. So we have some cells in our body where the healing is through resolution, like for parenchyma cells in liver. There the healing is through resolution, in the sense there would be no scar. If some damage is done to the liver, just half the liver is there, it will multiply itself to form complete liver. Even in lungs, there is no healing by the scarring. But whereas say skin has some abrasion and there is a complete loss of whole skin, then there would be a scar formation as a replacement tissue. So it may not be formed as a original skin tissue, but there would be a replacement tissue, what we call. But in vital organs, especially vital organs, the healing is always by resolution, like lungs and liver. It's a parenchymatous tissue. So same cell, depending upon its placement and assumption of assignment, there would be different structure and different function, though the origin is the same. See the intelligence, the divine intelligence, how this human body is designed.
So when you speak of the assignment, can you go a little deeper into that?
See, this is what we say, that this assignment also is a wonderful design the divine has done. Like you imagine, one person releases a progeny in the form of, say, sperm and ovum. Now, in the sperm, the smallest unit, see, in 1 ml of semen, we have millions of sperms. And same way, the female also releases 1 ovum or 2 oi at a time before each menstruation. And this 1 sperm and 1 ovum, when they unite, out of millions, one unites with the ovum and they form the zygote. Can you imagine this zygote formed out, this multiplication, what semen, sperms, that they multiply through what we call meiosis, where the DNA number is half, not like mitosis where a replication of DNA is there. And in this, half is from male gamete and half from ovum, and they unite and form a full being. And there, can you imagine, even the physical characters, the nose, eyes, skin color, pigmentation, everything is inherited through one cell. And inheritance from the male gamete and inheritance from the female gamete. So imagine the whole progeny is representing the parents. And not only physical characters, all even mental characters are inherited through this cell. So imagine the function. That's what I say, the job is assigned. DNA is just same. You take the epithelial lining cell, or you take any connective tissue cell, or you take from a cell from blood. The DNA will be just matching with each and every cell, and the origin is again one cell, but because of its placement, the design which is inherited through DNA, and that design is assumed, and according to design, the structure changes according to functions assigned to the cell. This is how the wonderful design of the nature is.
Well, I have a couple of questions that I feel are important. Let me begin with the first one, stem cell research.
Yes, this is like what we say is they from one person they can have the cells implanted in the other person's cell. Of course, a lot of experiments are there, and they have to do a lot of matching before that, how much it matches, and these are experiments going on, and to somewhere they are successful. Like in plants, we have grafting. It is just like a grafting. See, in the whole evolution, there are acquired characters. It is not that only inherited characters are there. Even we acquire characters during our lifetime, and those acquired, inherited as well as acquired characters are transmitted through genes to our progeny. For example, see, like in temperate climate, the human beings are white skinned, whereas in tropical, in African climate or Indian climate, we have colored people, especially the south. And this has been because of the constant exposure to heat and all. The body has to develop tanning, a natural tanning. But now, if just this is the first generation out of a white person, the black person, the progeny becomes, then there would be definitely white and black would be the combination, and that whiteness, that character will be maintained even though the white person is dwelling in the tropical climate. So it takes generations to transform. So maybe hypothetically, if after 20th generation, if the white couple is there in tropical climate, after say like 50 or 100 generations, it will be completely like a black skinned person, colored skinned person, because every life, every progeny will be exposed to the weather, and according to that, those external conditions, there will be some sort of adaptability of pigmentation and all, and that adaptability will be acquired and carried forward to the progeny. So each time there would be just 1%, 2%, 3% change, and finally it will be just a native person. So same way, these stem cells, if they are like planted on someone, like on liver or wherever, there would be some characters of the host which will be definitely there. Therefore, and many times what happens, that our system will definitely recognize whether it is our part or someone else. It will be treated as a foreign
So
body.
this is the matching.
There will be a clashes. Therefore, they try to match, and if it is matching 99%, it will be more successful. If it is like 95, it may not be much successful, because there is a chance of rejection.
Yes.
Partly. But these experiments are going on, and I don't know like how the things will come out, and at deeper level what would be the disturbance in the
Yes,
design.
yes.
But there would definitely, it's under research, of course, and each thing will not be successful, and that is what we have seen in especially cattle. We have seen that the exotic breeding like HF and Jersey, the high yielding varieties, and they have done cross this thing, and definitely both good and bad characters are transmitted, and you are under loss.
But I want to go back a bit to the Nazi Germany when they attempted this union of the strongest Aryan male with the most beautiful and strongest woman, and they had them copulate, and it was a failure, total failure.
No, that's what. There are so many things. What happens, it is not what characters the person has acquired from genetically from someone. It is even acquired characters also are, transmitted to the progeny. And what happens, like I'll tell you, inbreeding. It's so simple.
Yes, of course.
Consanguineous marriages.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
if the consanguineous marriages are there and parents are closely blood related, they are more prone for the diseases. This is a known phenomenon. So definitely, if the adaptability is poor, then is a variety. The genes which are transmitted and the combination is not proper. Definitely, the progeny will be altogether different. That is always we call a joke. It may be just a joke out of fun. That one very intelligent scientist, and he is very ugly looking, and one very fair smart lady tells that we'll get married, so our progeny will be very smart, look wise also smart, and intelligence wise also like yours. The scientist says, but if the progeny comes body stature like me and intelligence like yours, what will be the outcome? So same way, all pros and cons we have to see.
Yes. But stem cell now is often used for anti-aging. At least they're saying that.
See, at present, stem cell plantation is used. Of course, it is under study and experimentation, but as a life-saving measure. It is used as a life-saving measure because I have seen stem cell implant where it's what we call acute myeloid leukemia, where blood cancer in the child is seen, and they try anyway it would be fatal if you don't do. So they do this type of stem cell implants and all. Try bone marrow transplant, they call it. So bone marrow of someone is collected and transferred to the child, and they see. But again, the survival rate is very poor. Very poor.
I see. Well, now I have the big question, and that is that mother discovered a mind of the cells.
Yes, see, this is how each cell again has many components in it. Like I said, the membrane has phospholipids. Plenty of phospholipids are lined together in two layers, and even the cytoplasm has so much of fluidy material in it, and that also there are floating objects like Golgi apparatus and DNA in nucleus, nucleolus and all. RNA, DNA, it is in the cell. So definitely there is a intelligent design behind it. Without that it won't work. It won't work. What we call animation or a vital, which is animating. So that is actually characterize the person as live. The cell is live because there is vitality in it. The animation is in it. And this animation also is working according to wonderful design, and that is mind. And in general, when this mind, so each cell has vital and mind, and again naturally the psychic also. So definitely That's what I said. In all the planes of the being, each cell is representing the whole being. And not only that, beyond that, we as a human being also, one individual, is component of the same universe. So, as you are as a human being or a individual is component of the whole universe, that each cell also is component of the whole universe. So, not only being, we represent the whole universe. As a minutest cell, we represent the whole individual in whatever minute proportion. So same way, Mother says that this consciousness is even in the non-living things. But after all, you see all these phospholipids or whatever molecules are there, they are formed out of atoms, and those each atom again has a basic electron and protons and neutrons and orbiting, and again it is in the form of energy. So finally, we come to the same thing. We exist in the form of vibrations. Only thing is, those are all given concrete shape with again the design, and it's again a convertible. Like we have seen, energy, the atoms can be converted into energy, and naturally, hypothetically, energy also can be converted into matter. So same way it is. So scientists are almost just confirming what Mother has said.
Yes. Well, this is wonderful. Namaste, all. Thank you for attending. See you next week.